Douglas Allen Bickford, broadcasting live from my 105-year-old house here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, which is my hometown. I am a self-taught psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor. You don't have to go to school to get a degree to learn something. So you don't have to go to college to become a psychiatrist. That's why I call it self-taught. I have thousands of hours studying how the mind works. So I am qualified as a psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor because I'm self-taught to teach you how to be positive, and how to be positive is to attain and maintain a healthy mind. Since all my studies and how the brain functions, I don't have the formal degree. I have all the knowledge, okay? I can help you in offering you a free service, therapy sessions, 1 hour a week, 4 times a month. I specialize in emotional, sexual, and physical abuse because I am a victim of all 3 of those. And I'm not alone. There are billions of people that have been sexually, emotionally, or physically abused all over the planet. I said billions with a B, folks. It's one of the sad statistics, okay? Most people won't seek help because we've been trained and taught that it is a weakness to ask for help. And if we show weakness, people will take advantage of us, okay? So that's why most people won't ask for help for their sexual, physical, and emotional abuse. That's why I'm offering this service free of charge. You don't have to be afraid to call me, folks. 458-232-5238. It is not a weakness to ask for help. It is strength, okay? We're all human, you know, and we're all in the same boat, okay? So anyway, to attain a healthy mind and keep it, okay, you have to attain and maintain a thing called self-esteem. What self-esteem is, it's how you feel about yourself. It's also known as self-confidence, self-worth, self-love. How you can think of self-esteem is. We've all been in romantic relationships. You know that good feeling you get when you first meet that person? You know, you're on cloud 9, they're on cloud 9. You're bragging to all your family and friends about how great these people are. And, you know, they can do no wrong. Both of you feel the same way, right? You're soulmates, you're going to die together. Okay, so what self-esteem is that good feeling toward yourself. Dr. Susanna McMahon, she got 73, lives in Madrid, Texas with her husband, has a doctorate in psychology. She also has a master's in philosophy. She's got the real degree, okay? She's also my trainer. Had to devise a concept to tell her clients to do so they could give themselves self-esteem. Nobody can give you self-esteem except for you. And she knows as a psychiatrist, and now I do, and I'm teaching the same thing, that you have to attain and maintain self-esteem before you can get a healthy mind. And nobody was teaching it back then. This book was published in 1992. So 30 years ago, this book was published. And every lesson in it talks about how we've been trained and taught not to have self-esteem, not to have self-confidence, not to have self-love, and not to have a healthy mind. So anyway, here's that very simple concept she came up with to tell her clients to do. It's called mirror therapy. You look yourself in the mirror, you say 4 things. I love you. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. I'm full of goodness. Those 4 things will instantaneously give you self-esteem. But to maintain that self-esteem, you have to practice it. It's like lifting weights. Uh, if you start lifting weights and stop, you have to start from scratch. You lose muscle mass. Self-esteem is the exact same thing for the brain. So you have to say those 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily without fail for the rest of your life. It'll take you less than 10 seconds. I love Douglas Allen Bickford. I love my inner child. I'm worthy to be loved. I'm worthy to love. Okay? And if you're good looking, slender, you can say, I love Douglas Allen Bickford too, just like I did. Because then we can hook up. Okay? Anyway, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so just plan on saying those 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily, folks. The reason that she came up with mirror therapy and why it's so powerful. We can not look dead straight in our face and lie to ourselves in the mirror. It's a psychological event that happens in your brain. So that's why you can very easily get in front of the mirror and downgrade yourself, say terrible things about yourself, because that's how you feel about yourself. You can't say good things to yourself in the mirror because you don't feel like that about yourself. Because of all our training, they've taught us to feel bad about ourselves. It comes from the television, now it comes from the social media, right? So anyway, so the very first time you do it, you'll have to force yourself to do it. And you can do it. I have confidence in you. Self-esteem is the absolute most important thing you can have as a human being on the planet. There's 2 reasons. We can't be content without it, which means you feel good about how, where, and what you are. It's also known as internal peace. There are 12 things that people are using to try to be content and get internal peace. They are self-harm, which is scratching or cutting yourself, burning yourself with cigarette butts, lit cigarettes. People commit suicide to try to make themselves feel better. It's a very dangerous gamble, folks. All the social media, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, the list goes on and on, to try to make themselves feel good. Drugs, and you can include caffeine and nicotine. Caffeine's a stimulant. Nicotine is an opiate. Like an opiate, calms you down, whether you smoke it or vape it. Alcohol, all forms, beer, wine, hard liquor, doesn't matter what it is. It's all, you're using it to make yourself feel good. Sex, exactly the same thing. You use it to make yourself feel good because it feels good to have sex, okay? Food, you eat when you're hungry, then that makes you feel good to eat, so you overeat, and then you get overweight because you're eating yourself, because you're making yourself feel good by eating beyond the full mark, and then you feel you got overweight because you overate, so now you feel bad about yourself. Okay. Gambling, the exact same thing. Feels good to gamble, right? Your money. But it feels terrible to lose. Okay. People commit suicide because they gambled all their money away and lost everything they own. I know one person that lost his house because of it, because his wife was addicted to gambling. The video poker machines in the bars. Let's see, television. You turn the boob tube on, feels good while you're watching it, but then the feel good goes away as soon as you turn it off. Religion, you go to church, it feels good to do the communion thing and hang out with all those people, the potlucks and all that stuff, right? While you're there, but the feel good is always temporary. Material possessions, get a new car, get anything different, feels good when you first get it. But like a new car, you buy a new one, sits in the driveway, you got a high payment, high insurance because you bought that new car. And then the feel good goes away. So you're going, whoa. New relationship, get a brand new relationship. Feels really good at first. But as soon as that feel good goes away, the relationship becomes toxic, and then you go out and looking for another relationship, and the exact same thing happens. Okay. The feel good never lasts. And the last one is money. You get a chunk of change, you get any money at all, feels good when you first get it, but it is never permanent. Okay. So the absolute only thing that's going to give you eternal peace and to make you feel good permanently is to attain and maintain self-esteem, and that is by the 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily for the rest of your life. You won't be happy all the time, but you'll have this content, internal peace feeling. I have it now, okay, because of mirror therapy. I've taught myself how to have a healthy mind, and I can also teach you how to have a healthy mind too, because I've healed myself from my traumatic sexual, emotional, and physical abuse as a child. Okay, so that's why it makes me qualified to help you learn how to heal yourself too, because we can all heal ourselves. I mean, unless you're on, you're on prescription pills for, you're mentally ill, you're really mentally ill, but most people aren't mentally ill. Anyway, so the next reason that it is so vital that you attain and maintain self-esteem. You can't love or be loved without it. So 2 people that don't have self-esteem will attract each other. To know if you have self-esteem, you have to be able to, if you can't say 4 things to yourself in the mirror, which I've already told you what they are, you don't have self-esteem. If you want to turn me off when I tell you that, it means you don't have self-esteem. If it makes you mad at me because I tell you that, you don't have self-esteem. That's how you tell if you don't have it. Okay. Most people don't have it because nobody's teaching you how to get it. I mean, I'm talking to the tune of billions of people. It's like, when was the last time anybody told you how to get self-esteem? Or say I love you in the mirror, right? Never. So anyway, what happens is 2 people that get involved without self-esteem. After the good feeling goes away, the relationship turns toxic. That's when the fights and the arguments start, the cheating on each other, drug and alcohol use, getting in the car, going down the road, can't get away from the person fast enough, complaining to all your family, friends, right? The yelling, screaming at each other, calling each other names, right? And because the relationship turned toxic, you'll divorce or separate. And then the same 2 people will go jump in another relationship without self-esteem, and the exact same thing will happen. The second thing that'll happen, that 2 got together with no self-esteem. The 2 people will stay in that relationship forever, even though they know it's bad. And the reason they stay is because they're being codependent on each other. They can't be alone. They're afraid to leave. They have nowhere to go. And they don't want to be a failure. and they don't want to be an embarrassment to all their family, friends, and church members, so they'll stay in it forever. And then all the emotional, sexual, and physical abuse that those two did to each other, and then their children all get swept under the rug. And at that point, it becomes a dysfunctional family, and dysfunctional families produce more dysfunctional families, and the cycle continues on down the line. Okay. The very last thing that'll happen in two that got together with no self-esteem is the two, after so many failed marriages and relationships, they'll just say, screw it. They'll exit out of the romantic scene and they'll just be alone for the rest of their lives. And then they'll use the 12 things to try to feel content and get internal peace. But the problem is, you can't be content without attaining and maintaining self-esteem. So they'll still be just as miserable alone as they were in the relationship. Okay. Douglas Allen Bickford, trained psychiatrist, therapist, and counselor, has the cure, the fix. If all participating people in all those scenarios, to the tune of billions of people on the planet, because nobody's teaching you how to get self-esteem, would say four things to themselves, yourselves in the mirror, daily without fail. And then get this book, go through the many other concepts. You can go through it with me. That's what our therapy sessions are going to be about. Call me at 458-232-5238 to schedule your first appointment. If all participating parties would read this book and do all the many other concepts in it, it will give you self-esteem and it'll fix that toxic relationship. The person all alone will be content being by themselves, or they'll even be able to find a healthy relationship because after they attain and maintain self-esteem. If there's a person that wants to change in a toxic relationship and the other doesn't want to, it'll give you the strength and the courage to get away from that person. And if you're in a dysfunctional family and nobody in the dysfunctional family wants change and you want change, it'll give you the strength and the courage to remove yourself from that dysfunctional family. Okay? So, I'm going through this book one lesson at a time, and here's that next lesson. Lesson number 2, what is the meaning of life? The only way to deal with this question therapeutically, rather than philosophically, is to qualify the question to either, what is the meaning of my life, or what is the meaning of life for me? By personalizing the question, we have changed it significantly from something abstract and out of our control to something more concrete and manageable for ourselves. Each of us now has a choice about what we consider important and how we prioritize the essentials of our own life. The meaning of our life, because of its subjective nature, must be found within each person. The answer cannot be found in the externals. It cannot be found in another person. Unfortunately, it cannot be handed to us, either in book form or in therapy. The best that another person can do is to function as a guide, and that's exactly what I am. To point out new directions and provide some new materials which may lead to insight. I just gave you some insight that you've never heard before. 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily, folks, for the rest of your life. Others may help us learn new perspectives and present choices that we may not have thought of. The answer to discovering the meaning of your life lies in the exploration of yourself. You give meaning to your life. The unexplored life is not a life. At best, it is part of life. This exploration of yourself, your life, may be your life's work. And now it's my life's work to teach you how to love yourself. It is difficult, painful, and requires great courage. I have done all this, and it does. It is very painful. In order to explore who you are and what your life is about, you must be willing to acquire objective eyes to really see yourself. This means that you must let go of myths, illusions, and expectations that have accompanied you and helped you to avoid the pain of living. Television's huge, and now it's Facebook and all the social media to help you avoid the pain of living. Because life is full of pain, life is full of fear, and we all die, folks. You must be willing to ride the pain and drop your defenses. This is hard work. And like most explorations, involves commitment, encouragement, and energy. Along the way, you will learn the art of loving first towards yourself, which are the 4 things to yourself in the mirror, folks, and later towards others. The result of this exploration of yourself and your life is that you will learn the art of being whole, of being balanced. All aspects of you, mental, emotional, spiritual, and interactive, are in harmony and work together. You become more at peace with yourself and with your world. In the process of exploring your life, it helps to begin by looking for the meanings of life in small, everyday acts of courage that are always present. We're talking about, flowers growing fresh in your yard, little birds chirping around your house, all the stuff that you take for granted, hot and cold running water, a beautiful place to live in the United States of America, being grateful for all the little miracles, you little animals, all that kind of stuff. Recognizing that life is lived in the moment and the here and now and not in the past or the future also helps. I say to myself daily, I will not live in the past in guilt. I will not live in the future in anxiety. I'll live it in the moment. That's all we got, folks. And that's how I've attained a healthy mind. I can help you get it too, because I can encourage you along the way. It takes an act of courage to stop time jumping from the past to the future and to stay focused on the present. Changing the idea that time is replaceable and money is not, to the exact opposite, and then living accordingly also requires courage, as you will be going against the teachings of our Western world. That's how they taught us to be, the go, 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 go. And the more money you get, the better you are, right? And the more stuff you have, the better you are. And none of those things make you happy, okay? The meaning of life is found in the understanding of concepts of paradox, practice, and humor. Life is paradoxical on all levels, and this concept is explained in the next question, which is the next chapter, which will be tomorrow. The best approach to understanding practice is to use the metaphor of the theater. This life is the rehearsal for what is to follow. And rehearsals are a process which allows making mistakes in order to learn. If you are lucky and have good direction, you will receive encouragement while you are learning. But unlike the theater, we do not know when the final performance will occur. The rehearsing, the process, becomes the performance. Living means practice, just as life needs process. The third concept, humor, provides a bridge that allows us to live with the contradictions of life and death, sanity and insanity, good and evil, by using humor, by laughing at ourselves and with others. We can learn that life is not that serious, not that important, and not that unbearable. Woo! I got to read this one part, one more line again. The best approach to understanding practice use a metaphor of theater. This life is a rehearsal for what is to follow. So, what's to follow after we die, folks, is all good things. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's what she's saying. Okay. It's like, wow. Oh, man. Wow, 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 wow. Anyway, I'm going to have another lesson for you tomorrow, which is what is the meaning of paradox? You all say 4 things to yourself in the mirror daily, folks, without fail. Get this book. Call me for your therapy sessions. I can be your mentor. I can encourage you along the way. I can help you attain and maintain a healthy mind. I can encourage you to say positive things about yourself and to others. I can help you to be positive in this negative world that we live in. 458-232-5238. Call me anytime, day or night, to schedule your first therapy session, or just call me when you start going through this book yourself, and I can encourage you along the way. Okay? You don't even need me, but I can be your mentor and help you and encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Okay? As you read this book, and because you can heal yourself. Anyway, I'm going to have more later for you. You all have a great day out there on this Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow.